welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here then thank you so much for clicking on this video. I do hope that you decide to subscribe and also turn on that bell so you're notified every single time that I post. Now if you're already a current subscriber and you haven't got your notifications on, please make sure you turn that on, because YouTube just isn't being nice to true crime YouTubers at the moment and isn't suggesting any of the content that you love, so it's ideal that you turn that bell on. I also have a Patreon as well, and there are a couple of people on there at the moment. You get all of my videos early and some crazy other little perks for very little a month, and that amount of money literally helps me so much. It helps me film, edit and get videos up on YouTube for you. So if you want to take a look over at my Patreon, I will leave a link in the description box below. So before jumping right into today's video, I do just want to give my usual disclaimer. I mean no disrespect to anybody that I talk about in this video, anybody who knows the people involved or anything like that. I'm simply putting this video together with information from the internet to raise awareness and spread information about this case. If I do pronounce anything wrong or get any information wrong, please let me know in the comments politely. Today we are talking about the Icebox murders. On the 23rd of June 1965, police received a call to carry out a welfare check on an elderly couple. Fred and Edwina Rogers, who were in their 80s, hadn't been in touch with any of their family members for a couple of days. Their family had been trying to call them and they was not answering the phone. With the couple being elderly, family members did contact police and just ask if they could do a welfare check. 2 police officers attended and broke into the couple's home. So there isn't a lot of information about Fred and Edwina Rogers. All we know is that they were married and they had a son called Charles, and they all lived together in Houston, USA. Police had broken into the couple's home because nobody answered the door, and when they were looking through the windows they couldn't see anybody. But when they entered the home, nothing seemed amiss. Fred and Edwina wasn't home and neither was their son Charles. The only strange thing that police seemed to find was the fact that there was food on the table. It was as if the family just up and left in the middle of dinner. Police decided to carry on searching the home to see if they could find anything that was out of place or any information as to where the family had gone. Then one of the police officers decided to look in the fridge, and when he opened the fridge there were stacks of cut, washed, unwrapped meat. The officer just assumed that the meat was animal meat, but when he was closing the door he stumbled across 2 human heads in the vegetable bin. And the heads did belong to Fred and Edwina Rogers. The meat that the officers thought they found in the fridge was actually dismembered body parts from the elderly couple. When police started investigations, they actually discovered some of Fred and Edwina's organs in the sewers, so this meant that their organs had been flushed down the toilet. And also to this day some of their remains are still missing. When the autopsies were conducted, it was concluded that the elderly couple was actually killed on the 20th of June, and this just happened to be Father's Day. Fred's autopsy showed that he had died from blows to the head with a claw hammer, but his eyes had also been removed and his genitalia was cut from his body. Edwina's autopsy showed that she had been beaten and then killed by a shot to the head. Police said that once they were killed, they were dismembered in the upstairs bathroom by somebody who had knowledge of anatomy. There was also very little blood in the house and the scene had been cleaned very well. And I'm assuming it had been cleaned so well to hide any possible DNA evidence. Despite there being very little blood in the house, there was a trail of blood to Charles's bedroom, and when police conducted a search of Charles's bedroom they found a saw that was covered in blood, and police believed this saw was actually used to dismember the bodies. Police were sure that Charles wasn't murdered in the home, and despite searching for him, they never found him. There has been a warrant out for his arrest, as police believe he is a material witness to a crime. But despite doing everything they can, they have never been able to track him down. And given all the information and evidence police had, this made Charles a prime suspect in his parents' murder. Charles Rogers was born on the 30th of December in 1921. It is believed that Charles was actually abused by his parents, both mentally and physically, right from his childhood way into his adulthood. He was an intelligent man. He studied at university, he had a degree, he spoke several languages, and he was even a pilot for the Navy. But he was described as reclusive by the people who knew him. By the time of his parents' murder, he was employed and living with them. And it's widely believed that his parents always stole from him. They would steal lump sums of money from their son. The home that they were living in was actually owned by Charles, and whilst living in this home, the relationship between him and his parents got so bad that he wouldn't even speak to them, he wouldn't acknowledge them, and the only way they would speak would be putting notes under each other's doors. It is believed that Charles may have just cracked and had enough of what his parents was doing, so he decided to kill them and fled. It is also widely believed that he was a CIA agent and he had some sort of involvement in the assassination of John F. Kennedy. It is theorised that his parents found out about his involvement in the assassination and decided to talk about it, and because of this he decided to kill them and keep them quiet. But none of this information is actually proven, and it is just all a theory. After the murders of his parents, police did everything they could, like I said, to find Charles. But he never made contact. It's not like he was just an innocent man who didn't know about his parents' murders and was to contact later on, because this was literally news everywhere. Media ran with this story, so it's very unlikely that he just didn't know that his parents had been murdered. It just seems like he has vanished because there is no trace of him anywhere. So 10 years after the murder in 1975, Charles Rogers was officially pronounced as deceased in a court of law. His body has never been found and there is no evidence to actually say that he is dead, but police needed him to be legally pronounced as dead so that they could prohibit his estate. In 2003, a couple had actually released a novel called The Icebox Murders. The Gardners had spent previous years investigating and looking into this case for themselves, and of course they built their own theories and opinions. They said that they did believe that Charles had actually premeditated this murder and planned to kill his parents, and once he did it, he then fled to Mexico. But again, this is just a theory and we don't actually know what happened to Charles Rogers. Given how old he would be now, because he was born in 1921, I don't think he would be alive anyway. There wouldn't be very much chance of him being alive. So if we haven't found any information between then and now, I don't think we will find any, and I don't think we will know what happened to Charles Rogers. But I would be very interested to know how he lived his life after the murder of his parents. This case does remain unsolved, and it is unsolved in the eyes of the law. Nobody has been charged, nobody has been sent to trial, and Charles does remain the prime suspect in this case. So the home that the parents were actually murdered in was demolished in 1972, and in 2000 apartments were built on the lot. And that's all the information we have for this case. I apologise, it's a short video, but I haven't done an unsolved murder in a long time, and I feel like it's been a long time, and I just wanted to get a video together for you. If you've been following my socials, you know I've had a rough week. Dominic has been poorly, and in the life of a mother, I can't really do YouTube videos while I'm looking after my poorly son. He kind of comes first, is my priority, and I'm sorry to say it like that, but he is. and he's all better now, so a smaller case for this week was the only option that I had, and this case really did interest me when researching it as well. Also, what is your theories on this case? Do you think that Charles was responsible? If not, who is responsible? What do you think happened of Charles? Where do you think he went? Let me know in the comments down below. So that is all for this video. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a massive thumbs up. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I shall see you in my next true crime video. Bye.